Jai Shri Krishna to all. Welcome to Path to Anandam Gita series. Freedom from pains and miseries to happy, healthy, and peaceful life. Based on Bhagavad Gita, my question and God's answers. And 108 mantras to awaken your soul. Pranam to Guruji, Hariharji Maharaj, for his blessings, for his guidance, and giving us the motivation to come Sunday morning with his ideas. The path to Anandam was started to help with the simple techniques, how to be happy, how to get beyond your miseries. And with his Adesh, I would say, he asked me to write the books many years ago, and I laughed and looked at his face. And I said, Guruji, I don't even understand the single word. How could I write the book and the phrases of Bhagavad Gita? And he smiled back to me, which turned out to be his blessings, which we don't even understand what Guru is saying silently. So with his blessing, thank you very much. I am Satya Kalra, your host of this program. I thought I should refresh our reason for these series programs. This program is nothing but to bring awareness of timeless wisdom by practicing the teachings of Bhagavad Gita in our daily life. Self-transformation and self-improvement by learning through life's challenges and journey within to enhance the quality in every area of life. Find solutions to daily problems through righteous action, doing our dharma, and then experiencing, attaining, achieving healthy, happy, and peaceful body, mind, and abundance. Everlasting happiness and peace, our true nature. I am Chit Anand. So you hear in every single of my talk here, all these points are repeated over and over and over, because the ultimate purpose is to not just realize who I am, but truly merge with I am Satchit Ananda. And as Hariharji Maharaj said, Gita is an answer to all those seeking enlightenment on the various problems of life. So today's session is the power of Sankalpa, intentions. This is the series 44, based on Gita's verse, chapter 6, 24 and 25. Very practical verse. What is Sankalpa? What is intention? Why to set Sankalpa? Vows. How to fulfill Sankalpa? And what are the benefits I am receiving it from this? And practices. And my Sankalpa, today I left it blank, I am, because I like all of you to fill your own Sankalpa. And then meditation and question and answers. So let's all start with the prayers as an Arjuna of today. How to solve our daily challenges, go through it and find the solutions from Bhagavad Gita, from Guruji's blessings and guidance from Lord Krishna. So let's all together look for the guidance very humbly and surrender to him. Karpanye dosho pete svabhava paschyami tvam dharma sammur cheta yachasyani nishchitam bhuitan me shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam shishyasteham shadimam tvam prapanyam. My heart is overpowered by the weakness of pity. I have lost all my composure, and my mind is confused about my duty, my dharma. I am requesting you, because I'm your disciple, please tell me what is the best for me, not because I am asking favors here. I am asking just what is the best for me, so please guide me. And this is how we will get out of Vishad like Arjuna did. He was confused, fearful about his family members, about his dharma. What was his dharma? Should he get engaged in the war or he shouldn't? And he was so confused. He just could not digest the thought of embarking on this field of Kurukshetra in front of his gurus and teachers, siblings, relatives. And he simply sat down back on his charioteer. And on his chariot, he told his charioteer, Lord Krishna, na jotasyati Govindam, I cannot get engaged into this war because I do not believe in it. And then Lord Krishna took him step by step, where finally he received the prasad of wisdom and said, Karshe vachanam tav, I will do as you advise. So let's all go together on this blissful journey for self-purification, self-transformation, lift ourselves, remove our doubts, and experience, who am I? I am Chit Ananda, and so is everybody else. So we are on the last chapter of Karma Yoga, first series or first section of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 sections: Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Gyan Yoga. So we are now how to do our dharma, focus our mind on the positiveness, focus on our mind on our sankalpas with Dhyan Yoga. So Lord Krishna takes Arjuna, removes all of his doubts one by one, and take him to the essence of life, Anandamaya Kosha. Through all these other koshas, Anmaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vigyanmaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, and then he takes him to Anandamaya Kosha. So he's removing him, taking him through all these koshas, and finally I am Chit Ananda. So through the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, with all these yogas, let's all embark on our life and learn from it. So in previous chapter or previous session, we spoke about meditation. Why? Because we cannot perform our karmas, recognize our duties, unless our mind is calm. And how can we calm our mind? Come to equanimity, sthit pragya, through one of the steps of Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, where meditation is the seventh step. Yama, niyama, asanas, pranayam, pratyahara, dhyana, and now dharana and dhyana, and with dhyana, the meditation, which is just not speaking, but actually practicing. That's where Shri Krishna Pattabhijay said that yoga, meditation is only a practice. It's a 99% practice, only 1% theory. We are talking about theory here. And hoping that we practice every day. So with the meditation, we also know what do we gain. We go to the next level, samadhi, union with the divinity, ultimate yoga. But all these 8 steps must be practiced with firmness, with sankalpa, to attain the true meaning of yoga and experience and reach to Paramdham. And experience oneness with ultimate, supreme. But it's not easy to concentrate, put our mind at one place, focus, because we all have that experience that we promise ourselves and then for a few days we might follow and then we forget. And that happens over and over. So here Lord Krishna gives us the formula to attain calmness and peace, how to stay on the track. Sankalpe prabhavan kamasya tattva sarvana sheshatya. Manse indriya gramam vinyamam samantata. And then shanai shanai uppar med buddhyagrati grahita. Atma sanstha mana kratvana kinchit api chintet. By totally abandoning all selfish desires arising from worldly thoughts, because desires are the one which takes us to these worldly thoughts over and over. If you really, sometimes you sit down and watch your mind and see what mind is doing, thinking about one desire to another desire, jumping like a monkey from one tree to another tree, one branch to another branch. So is the mind is doing. By fully controlling all senses and mind from all sides of intellect. He's talking about pratyahara here, that we must control our senses and mind. By keeping the mind, by fully engaged in God consciousness, here he gives a secret. How can we do that? He says, simply just focus on me. Means do the meditation. Station your mind on me rather than on the worldly desires. And thinking of nothing else at all. Just think about me. And then little by little, through practice, one gradually attains peace and tranquility of the mind and intellect. One gets to samadhi, and beyond the samadhi, one gets the oneness with God. Here, sarvan sheshatya. Sheshatya, here, sheshatya, he is referring to the seed. That the thought come in our mind, That is the seed. And that seed gradually becomes the tree, gives the flowers and the fruits. Now, depending what kind of seed we sow in our mind. And that's where he says, desires, selfish desires, worldly desires, or focus on me. Whatever path you choose, you will ultimately reach to that. And this morning, Guruji's talk was, he said the same road goes down south or it goes north. In other words, it can take us to lower self or higher self. Chit Anand. The lower self, worldly desires, no ending. So here, but the key here is that put the seed, the best seed, which takes us upward, but then it has to be nurtured with our spiritual practices. Then finally we get the fruits, not just putting the seed and not ignoring it. In other words, we can read Bhagavad Gita and then unless we do manan, Shravan is good, studying is good, but doing manan, practicing, that's where we are going to reap the fruit with the ultimate union with supreme power. So, question comes, what is Sankalpa? What is intention? I did not know when first time I heard the word Sankalpa while we were going to Kailash Yatra in 2003. Swamiji mentioned the importance, Swami Chit Anand Ji Maharaj mentioned the importance of Sankalpa, and I just did not know what Sankalpa was. That's the first time I heard that word. And in Bhagavad Gita, it talks about Sankalpa twice or three times. So what is Sankalpa? Sankalpa is the resolve made in heart from high truth. It comes from your heart. It comes from your soul. It's a heartfelt desire. It's not the mind-felt desire, which takes us toward the worldly desires, but it's a heartfelt. And here it explains again, Sankalpa is the yogic philosophy. There is no word in English for that. So Sankalpa is Sankalpa, and it's such a sweet word. And if you know, every of our talk has a Sankalpa at the end. And as we started, our very first Sankalpa was New of Me in January 2022. And since that, we are talking about many Sankalpas. Every week we have a Sankalpas. So the Sankalpas term is yogic philosophy. That refers to a heartfelt desire, a vow, a Salman vow, an intention, or a resolve to the something, do something. It is a sinclair. It is a similar to the English concept of resolution, except that it comes from every deeper within and tends to be an affirmation. It comes in the form of affirmation. So Sankalpa is the seed that gives birth to tree, flowers, and fruits here. And actually, it sets the direction of life. We can go south, we can go north, we can go to higher self, we can go to the lower self, depending. It is so important. But one thing we should be aware of it, Sankalpa is not a goal. So Sankalpa versus goals. We set many, many goals in our life. Worldly, materialistic, many desires. But all these goals, worldly goals, are based on ego. I want a name and title. I want this position. I want bigger house. I want bigger cars. I want my children to go to best colleges, which is good for their future. But when we start bragging about it, that my son has done this, my daughter has done this, they have this job, I have that many grandchildren now, and my grandchildren are, we keep bragging and bragging and bragging. This is all materialistic desires which we are fooling. And we have a goals also, that I want to do this part. I want to have a bigger things, and etc. These are all worldly materialistic desires which do nothing but boost our ego and takes us from one desire to another desire. And we have we also set up the goals, or we call it a resolution, New Year resolution. Commitment is good, but the New Year resolution, when it comes, okay, I'm going to do weight loss, I'm going to do this, and then we sit up and talk about it. This is all boosting our ego. We set many goals for business, family, community, all this to get a name and fame. Again, these are goals. But Sankalpa, that has the only one purpose. It says deep desire from heart, higher purpose, liberation, moksha. Sankalpa means to raise our conscious level. So it's not a goal, it's not a resolution. And it comes in the affirmation. And here I put this. So this is more like a love, compassion. Okay, I'm going to do more love and compassion for the others, more to the community. I'm going to do one act a day, kindness act, which is called, there are many societies which are the kindness societies, and they have a sankalpas to do a one good thing for themselves and also for the others. So we should make it very clear distinction. The goals are mainly for the worldly desires to boost our egos, but the sankalpa is to take us to, unite us to with our soul. So sankalpa which takes us to soul, self-realization, Sat Chit Ananda, all those S, those belong to our sankalpas. So how to set my sankalpa? Question comes, how to set it? First, know the purpose of your sankalpa. Here we are fortunate that we have a sankalpa to attain the supreme power, union with supreme power. Experience who am I. But here it says, start with a small sankalpa with small phrases. Yes, so now who am I? This is my sankalpa, I want to know that. But how would I do that? Those are the steps. So one small step at a time, this is how we do it. As I mentioned, our very first sankalpa for this series was, new of me. I want to have a happy, healthy, peaceful life and eventually experience Satya Kalra. That was our very first sankalpa. And every week we have a small sankalpas to reach to that goal. So message here is, every sankalpa must lead toward the purpose of life, Satchitananda, not toward increasing more desires and ego. Example, Arjuna, sankalpa at the end, after listening to all this, he says, Karishe Vachanam Tav, I do as you advise. He took that sankalpa. And we all know the result of it. He focused on his dharma through his companion, Lord Krishna. His focus was only on Lord Krishna. So how to fulfill sankalpa? Again, step by step. Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, 8 limbs, each step, as I mentioned, is so well defined. It's so easy to understand. And in Bhagavad Gita, do Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Gyan Yoga, and as Swamiji said this morning, chapter 12 gives you the summary of all. But we must know our sankalpa set our sankalpa, practice spirituality. Is how we practice. Follow these 8 steps of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. Do spiritual practices. This is where it means. And then do meditation. Meditation and Yoga Nidra are so powerful technique. Why? Because we can promise ourselves so much, but when we sit in the meditation and take the sankalpas, they go deeper into our mind, into our brain. And during the day, when we forget, that message keeps coming to us. That's why in every meditation, I repeat, give the affirmations. Those are in the form of sankalpas. And they have a deeper impact in our mind. And the practice, 20 to 40 days, that's why I have a daily spiritual planner, because the study shows that anything you want to do, it takes minimum 21 days and also 40 days. If you hear from India, I remember when I was growing up, and I'm sure you must have heard the same thing. You know, when they had some mannat, they wanted to do some mannat, they wanted to fulfill their desires. So this is used to say, Chalisa. If you want to go to mandir, 40 din mandir jao. Kuch karna hai 40 din. Chalisa, Chalisa, Chalisa. All the time they used to talk about it. So sankalpa plus spiritual practices, which we talk about, with commitment to continue to practice, focus on one sankalpa for 21 to 40 days. Though we do it here for 1 week, but we have come to that point where we all understand we are on the same path. For us, 1 week is even good enough, because all sankalpas are very similar to, they kind of build upon one on top of other. So even we just practice that sankalpa for 1 week, we become a master of it. And then we are going to we are on the path of self-realization. I am Chit Anand. So I am sure we will all on the same path will get that. So what are the benefits of sankalpa? Sankalpa ultimately leads to true nature. So sankalpa, intention plus action. As I mentioned, practice. Then you will see the magic of what? All this. Other thing I want to bring it here. I put the intention, sankalpa intention. Why I put it there? Because actually there is no English translation for sankalpa. The closest word you can come is intention. हमारी intention अच्छी होनी चाहिए. But intention does not mean just the excuse me, that only हमारा भाव अच्छा होना चाहिए. Bhav should be good, intention should be good, but actually we are talking about the sankalpa. So what does sankalpa do? It rewrites the subconscious mind, because our subconscious mind, as I mentioned before, is nothing but a storage of all the sanskaras and our thoughts. So it gradually cleanses our subconscious mind and connects us to the supreme consciousness, supreme mind. It gives the direction of the life. It takes us to the north, to the higher self, not to the down. It develops the self-awareness. Once we are on the path, sometime we will get distracted, like a driving in the car, and sometimes the car goes in the different lane. Similarly, we forget and we get engaged in the different activities. But once we have a sankalpa, it brings us back. So when we lose our thoughts, we get into the egoistic desires. It brings us back to home position. It takes us that who we are, how we should get there, and all. So it does the self-improvement. And basically, what does it do? It changes our old habits. And my favorite one is, Aadat buri sudhar lo, ho gaya bhajan. So it changes our old habits, buri habits, which are in our subconscious mind. And it also changes, study shows it changes the neural pathway in the brain. That's why I put it here. And I explained it a bit more last time, how our neurons, when they get disconnected with each other, then they get connected. And whatever we think, our neural pathway is established in our mind accordingly. And if we are on this path, our automatically sometimes mind go distraction in different direction. It brings it back because our neural pathway is equal to our road in our lives. So it takes us to the same direction. And it unleashes the power within us, help to focus one thing at a time. We become more focused. Our efficiency of work increases because we are so focused, whatever we do. And then it helps to focus and bring closer to the purpose of life, our true self, who am I? So eventually it gives us a healthy, happy, and peaceful life. And brings us the eternal happiness, makes us feel Anandam all the time. And of course, reaches to Param Dham. And actually, this has been explained in Upanishads. It says, as your intention is, as your Sankalpa is, as your Bhava is, so is your will. Our will becomes stronger. It becomes a will, and then our willpower becomes stronger in that direction. As your will is, so is your deed, your action. As your deed, so is your destiny. As Steve Covey had done the 7 steps to success based on this particular Upanishad message. Thought leads to speech, action, and action leads to the destiny. Our habits and habits lead to the destiny. So our thought make our kismat. So must believe in yourself and in your unlimited potential. And that will remove all of our doubts. And we should have a positive intention, good thoughts, good sankalpa for ourselves, but also for others as well. That's why I highlighted it. For others as well, not just ourselves, not be so selfish, but we should also help others as well. And with sankalpa, with intention, the ground of pure potency will increase, and the seed in our body, our mind, in our intellect will germinate. And then the soul's potential will unfold 100 times. As one seed gives the flowers, and how many fruits, unlimited fruits. One mango seed will give you unlimited mangoes on the mango tree. Similarly, one sankalpa can not just flourish our lives, but it can help the society. It can help the whole universe with our positive vibrations, with our positive thoughts, with our action. So here it says, you cannot change your destiny overnight, but you can surely change your direction by using the power of sankalpa. So it's again a slow process. And I just want to share quickly with my journey with sankalpa. My journey started right here with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And we are all familiar with Maslow's hierarchy map. Worldly desires, many sankalpas, I put it in my life, those were actually goals, not the sankalpas, but many goals I put it in my life. I wanted to be the best student. I wanted to be the top of the class. At one time, I wanted to become a lawyer. Then I wanted to become a doctor. And I said, if nothing works, I will just become a good housewife. And then after gradually going through my colleges, studies, all those, then I wanted to become the hierarchy on the top of the organization, CEO. All achieved. But what happened? It did nothing but increase my more desires. All were temporary. Nothing lasts. With time, everything kept changing. And finally, I came in touch with Swamiji Hariharji Maharaj. He asked me to study Bhagavad Gita. And it opened my eyes that what I did, I wasted so many years of my life. If I had to start my life all over again, I would do nothing but just become the social worker, spread the Gita's message as much as possible. And then I realized that my ultimate goal is to reach to my true nature. Who am I? Through blissful journey. And that's what it says. I have been a seeker and I still am. But I stopped asking the questions to the books or to others or to the star. What is the purpose of my life? With Guruji's help, also I started listening to the teachings of my soul within. And it's not that I am saying, Rumi said that, but it applied so much to me, I thought I should share that particular graphic with you, an image. So now, again, it goes back to setting a sankalpa and practicing it. So practice in the morning, you read Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, do Om mantra, whatever suits you. Take a one message. Do your daily activities like yoga, pranayama, meditation. And during the day, focus on practicing one message at a time, one sankalpa at a time. And then evaluate yourself and find the tune as needed. Because we are sometimes going to go backward, sometimes forward, but that's okay. We just do the fine tuning, like when anytime our car gets out of the lane, we bring it back. So we should just bring our sankalpa, our life back, and then pray to God for help us. And then finally, let it go. Let it go, as Lord Krishna says, Mayev man adatso, my buddhi nivesha. Put your mind into sankalpa, and then I will take care of you. Don't worry about it. Ma shuche, just come to me. So put the plant the seed of intention, sankalpa, in your mind, in your heart. And then through actions, through dhyana, practice this is a good image in daily through dhyan, we should practice that. And then it will change the neuropath in our mind. We automatically, these things become we are on the autopilot on it. Like many times we do automatically. Then all these practices come automatically also because the neuropath in our mind has changed. But we have to continue to practice and then finally come to the samadhi and union with ultimate. I am no different than supreme power and we are all one. So the oneness bhav comes. So through self-purification, transformation, realization, finally we reach to the Param Dham, experiencing, I am Chit Anand, I am no different than God. So homework time, again be aware and ask yourself self-inquiry. So dhyaya abhyasnam, what is my sankalpa? I don't think this group requires that, but new people who they are joining, they might need this one. Though I have already mentioned, once you are on in this session, the sankalpa is already set for you. And then also it helps my sankalpa is not for worldly desires, not for my ego, not for the temporary, wasting my time on the temporary activities. But my sankalpa is now to experience infinite truth. So it gives the self-awareness. Anytime we are sidetracked, then it brings us back. So then the question comes, do I practice it? Do spiritual practices to attain my sankalpa? So all these questions are not that we are doubting ourselves, but when we start asking ourselves, then we know that we are on the path of self-improvement, reaching higher self, becoming gunatit, reaching to Param Dham, experiencing true self. And also, as Gandhiji said, be the change you wish to see in the world. Then we can also impact in this world as well. But first we have to start from here, not from others. So focus on yourself. So our sankalpa for today is, I am. As I said, you fill it yourself. But again, I put it here, that you can pick and choose any one from that, whatever the need of your day or your pattern of life is, or your current situation is. But ultimately, we want to reach happy, healthy, and peaceful life, Chit Ananda. And that's why it says experiencing your true self is not a quick fix. Here it says, again, Shanai Shanai Uppar me Buddhya Grati Grahita Atma Sanstam Mana Kratvana Kinchita Pichinte. Little by practicing, focusing on the supreme power, focusing on our sankalpa toward reaching our ultimate purpose of life, our mind will change, our heart will change, and we gradually reach to the ultimate union. That's what it says. Live in the God consciousness and think nothing else but whatever Prabhu ki daya, Prabhu ki ichha, Prabhu ki, everything is his blessing. So thank you very much. Attending the power of sankalpa, intention, to have a happy, healthy, and peaceful life. Live in Anandam and knowing who am I. So thank you very much for joining.